All right, here we go. Got the mini tub and the outer wheelhouse and the trunk floor drop off clamped up in there about the way that I like them. Now I'm going to pull all that stuff out of there, clean up the rust, mark it up and drill it up and get it ready to weld in. Let's get to it. All right, I pulled the mini tub off there and took the marker and marked out where I want my plug welds along this flange here. There's also the roof structure right up in there that's got some flanges on it. Mark those out. I also marked out this patch piece up here as far as where I want the plug welds for that guy to go. I think I can go ahead and pull this off of here. I'll do holes for plug welds along this wheel lip later, but I think for now we'll pull this off and see what we got. Okay, I got that guy clamped to a sacrificial block of wood, and I got my step bit ready with some tape on it. I'm going to go through and just drill out these holes. Okay, I got those holes drilled, and now I'm going to drill out where that inner support is for the roof structure there. Okay, I got all those holes drilled out there, got it all cleaned up. Now I'm going to go take care of the rust inside that quarter panel. Okay, I wire wheeled this area in here. You can see it's still got a little bit of rust pitting to it, so I'll be taking care of that in the near future. Wire wheeled all up around this fender lip here. Cleaned up in there, cleaned up in here a little bit. I've still got to go over and weld this. Wire wheeled down in here. I've got some brass that I've got to melt out of here. It looks like there was a repair done at one point. This is pretty pitted. I can't quite get down into it, as well as I can't get into that there, so I'm gonna do a little spot blasting, sandblast those areas and get those cleaned up. Let's do that. Okay, a little quality time with the spot blaster, and I got most of the rust out of there and most of the rust out of there. Now I'm gonna come through real quick with the welder and clean up these beauty marks left behind by the spot weld cutter, as well as I can fix the holes that I've got in this guy here. See the holes there, and then as well this back bracing over here. It's got a little hole in it there, so fix those guys up real quick and maybe melt the brass out of that guy and keep moving forward. Okay, I got the spot hole cutter beauty marks cleaned up the holes in this piece here as well, and then I went to do this guy back here, and it's just too thin, so I'm gonna make a little patch for that. Okay, there's the patch all made and welded in. Here's the piece of metal that came out of there. It's kind of thin and fugly. Moving on. All right, I tried to melt the brass out of here. I heated it up red hot, and that brass didn't move at all, so I'm gonna leave that alone for right now, and if I got to cut it out and replace it later, then I'll just do that. Now then, moving on, I just want to show you guys how I clamp this outer wheelhouse up in here to get her nice and tight. All right, first I set it up into place where I like it, paying close attention to where that end is and where that end is, and then I put a set of vice grips over here on this end, clamp that. And once I get the vice grips on there, then I start working my way up and around that quarter panel using these spot weld clamps. They've got this part on them right here that goes nicely into this fender lip, like so. And then I can use it to just draw the two panels together, and that pulls it in nice and tight. And I can just work my way around, get her all clamped in there. And before you know it, you got her all clamped in there. Then I also throw on this trunk floor drop off to make sure that she's fitting in there good. One thing that I've got to look at before I get too crazy here is the alignment of this quarter panel to the rocker. Now, if you remember a couple videos ago, I wire wheeled a whole bunch of Bondo off this rocker here. That's because whenever they put these quarters on, they didn't get them flush with the rocker, and there was, you know, about a 1/4 inch or so of overhang here, and then they just filled that with Bondo. I want to fix that. If you look down through there, you'll see that this end here is all loose, like it's all loosey-goosey. So I'm able to attach this back here just fine. But the front here is, well, the quarter panel comes around and makes up this piece in here. And so what I've got to do to get this in is actually come over here and split this. I'm going to make a little incision right there, and then I can draw this in and then weld it closed. So I think I'm going to work on that right now. I'll wire wheel the paint and stuff off of this and see if I can get down to some clean bare metal. See what I'm working with. And here's this overhang from this angle, if it'll focus. I mean, it's not terrible, but it could definitely be a bit better. Definitely a bit better. Okay, I cleaned the paint off the metal there, and then I made a little incision, and then I gently persuaded it over, and as you can see, it's lining up substantially better now. I'm real happy with it. I'll break out the welder and weld that guy up. Alright, got her all welded up there, just a little quality time with the grinder, and it'll look good as new. Yeehaw. Yeah, now she's looking pretty good. I like it. I like the lineup. I like the fit. Alright, let's do something different now. Alright, we're going to move on to putting this piece here in. Re-welding this in there. I went ahead and drilled the holes for the plug welds, and I sprayed the back of it with weld-through primer. Now, weld-through primer is not really the greatest to actually weld through, so I rub it off around the holes where I'm going to be actually welding. So let's do the same thing on the inside there and get her going. Okay, in this inner quarter panel structure area, I blasted it with a little bit of weld-through primer just in the areas that I'm going to be welding in. Remember, this had the rust in here that I wasn't sure what to do with, so I sandblasted it, and I plan on coating that with Eastwood's internal frame coating. I've got a little access hole up here that I can run the straw down into, and should be able to coat all of this area. Same in here, and same on the back side of this here. I cleaned it up with a wire wheel in here as best I could, and I'm just going to move on with it. Okay, I got my piece fit up in there real good. Use these witness marks here to line it up a bit. I know I've got a gap over here on this end. That's because whenever I cut it, I was kind of flying blind there, so that's okay. I'll fix that later, but for now, I'm going to tack it along the top here and then work my way down to the plug welds here. I did pretty well drilling my plug weld holes along here, except for this guy up here. I'll need to end up filling that guy in, but other than that, it looks pretty good. I like the way it's sitting in there. Let's get to welding. Just like that, she's welded in there. Looks pretty good, nice and solid. Ground all the welds. I think she's looking pretty good. I can live with it. I think I'm gonna go drink beer now. Yeehaw.